Hi, welcome back to another episode of the podcast, Nobody's Doing It Right. Welcome back, or welcome if you're new here. For today's episode, I want to talk about a topic I just wrote about on Substack. And it's one that I have been thinking about for a while and kind of exploring within myself and also just, mulling it over so that I could properly articulate my thoughts on it. And this is the topic of yearning. And I think this is mostly related to dating content online because that's kind of what I see on my For You page on TikTok. It comes up a lot on Instagram. I think dating is a big topic, always has been, it always will be. But I also think that I think with the current dating narratives out there, relationship narratives, we are lacking a sense of yearning and seeing yearning as a kind of embarrassing, disrespectful experience to have within ourselves. So I'm going to explore this a bit more, but I think this can also apply to other things in life too. It's not just about romantic relationships. I think the act of yearning, to yearn for something that you don't have or that you lost or that you want back or whatever, can apply to anything in life. I think it is one of the many emotions we have as human beings. Okay, so to cut ourselves off from it, you're doing yourself a disservice when you do that. Now, obviously, I understand feeling to yearn for someone, right? Feeling that yearning for somebody specifically. I want to focus mostly on relationships because I think this is where the ego comes up the most. Okay. To feel like you're yearning for someone is kind of shameful, is kind of embarrassing because you are faced with your deep internal powerlessness, right? The powerlessness that you feel. And so to yearn for someone that you cannot have, whether it's circumstantial, whether it's because they're just not available to you, if things don't align, whatever, to yearn for someone like that feels shameful. It feels embarrassing and it's scary. It brings up all these fears of I'm not good enough to have this. So I shouldn't even want to have, I shouldn't desire, I shouldn't anything. And so I think our ego gets scared of the potential of being abandoned or rejected, followed by this yearning, that it uses pride and that shame to kind of shield us from that. So instead of accepting the yearning and seeing it for what it is and just being in it, indulging in it as an emotion that we have as humans, we start to see it as something that is bad, wrong, rotten, that leads to disrespect and we're better than that and we should be looking for, and so I think that then translates to these narratives, these dating narratives from certain dating coaches or, I see it a lot in story times where people talk about their experiences, and I'm not here to shame any of those people at all. I'm just fascinated with the narratives that come up because of this, which is, if someone is not reciprocating exactly your energy, then you shouldn't spend your time there. You shouldn't waste your energy and you shouldn't do this. And it should be an equal exchange. And while I don't disagree with that, I do think that we should have an equal exchange with the people that we are engaging with. And I don't mean equal as in exactly the same, but I mean where it feels kind of mutual, right? It feels like there's a nice flow, there's a nice vibe. Sure, of course. And also, this doesn't mean we should be keeping ourselves in situations, circumstances where we're going against our values, morals, or like genuine well-being. Of course not. We have to walk away from those things. But I do think there's something to be said about allowing ourselves to yearn, to be in a state of yearning when it comes to someone. But I think we're so scared of that we block ourselves from that yearning. So instead, when it comes up, right, we're dating somebody or we're talking to somebody or we just meet someone and there's a bit of that yearning, or it's someone that we had something with, but now we can't, like whatever the circumstances, we block ourselves from that experience. And our ego comes up as a protective mechanism. So instead of saying, okay, I'm yearning, like I want this person or this opportunity or whatever, but I can't have it, right? Like the state of yearning means you can't have this thing right now or ever. Who knows, right? But you can't have. That's why you yearn for it. Instead of just being in it and seeing it for what it is and letting yourself just sink into that feeling, we get scared and we instead block ourselves from experiencing that by avoiding it altogether. We're saying, I don't even want to yearn, so I'm not even going to desire anymore. I'm actually going to put up so many roadblocks in the path of me dating or engaging with anyone where I don't even have the potential to yearn for them. So if anything, it is purely transactional now. Every dating situation is transactional. Are we doing it this way? Is it happening this way? Am I getting this in return for what I'm giving here? And it's like, that is just control and perfectionism and the fear of being vulnerable and out of control and out of your, like not having power because you're yearning for something that you might never have. And I get it. I understand that fear. It makes sense, of course. But also, that's the point of being human. And all the best art throughout history, most of it, not all of it, I'm sure, but like most of it has been born from yearning. And this could be yearning for a person. It could be yearning for knowledge, right? To learn more. It could be yearning to see, read, or listen to something that hasn't been created yet. So all of that, like the yearning is a catalyst for creation. And so to sever yearning from yourself, right? To sever yourself from yearning, and like as though it's like a limb that you don't want anymore, you're preventing yourself from experiencing such a human characteristic, such a human experience. And that's really sad because it is a part of you. And I think that it can be used to your benefit. And at the end of the day, it's not really about yearning someone and wanting them and what do I have to do to get them, or like making yourself smaller or changing yourself to get them. It's not even about them, really. It's a way to connect to yourself, because when you allow yourself to yearn, to be in the state of yearning, to sit in it, in the discomfort of it, in the vulnerability of it, you're letting yourself see yourself at your rawest, right? Because like to yearn, and I'm sure anyone who's ever experienced a sense of yearning, it kind of feels like you're cracking yourself open, kind of, right? And you're exposing yourself, you're leaving yourself bare, which means to open yourself, to open up, you have the potential of losing something, right? But it also means you have the opportunity to receive something as well. And that's the risk we kind of have to take. And that's the point of yearning. And you're able to see that within yourself rather than hiding that part of you, suppressing it, not wanting to see it because it brings up all these other feelings of shame, embarrassment, abandonment, rejection, all those things. And that's such a shame because, again, I think it's a good experience to have. But I think the way that certain mentalities around dating and relationships right now in this day and age, I don't know if it's always been like this. This is just what I'm perceiving because this is when I'm existing as a person who's dating and an adult. But I'm noticing it now a lot where we are encouraged to not desire, to not yearn, because somehow it's embarrassing to do that. It's shameful. It's disrespectful to yourself to yearn for someone. It's like, then what's the point, right? Like, really, what is the point of engaging in anything that you want or opening yourself up to an experience, if not part of it being yearning for it? And I don't even mean this in the sense, again, that it has to be with a relationship and that you should give yourself up to someone completely, even if they're doing certain things. No, of course. Be mindful of yourself and your well-being. But don't equate yearning to you being disrespectful to yourself or you staying in situations that are not good for you. They're two different things, but I think our brains and our ego conflate the two, and we start to see it as the same thing. And that takes away the fun of the experience of existing as a human being. Let yourself yearn, let yourself desire, let yourself be in your feels about someone or something. Like, that is a fun experience. I know it doesn't feel fun in the moment. It can feel kind of painful, but I see it more as like a kind of pain in the same way that working out is a kind of pain that also feels good, but also is uncomfortable, right? It's like when you tear your muscles intentionally so that they rebuild stronger. That's painful. It's uncomfortable. It aches. There's an aching to yearning, but it's kind of like a good ache. So to prevent yourself from doing that, why? It is like kind of what we're built to do, in the same way that some sort of movement is what we're built to do. So to deny yourself of it is like, what's the point? Yeah, okay, you'll avoid the discomfort. Sure, and that's fine. There's no right or wrong way to do this. Like, do what you want to do. It's your life. But it's more about like, as someone who is I'm a writer, I'm a creative at my core, is not the experience of like seeing the depths of who you are. Isn't that the point? Don't we want to do that as humans? We have one life to live. We're on this planet. Why not see the depths and the capabilities and the intensities and the intricacies of who you are as a person? Despite, of course, like, I get it. There is embarrassment. There is the fear of rejection. I'm not trying to deny any of those things. But those, I think, are a little bit more on the surface. Beneath that is the fact that you get to connect with yourself in this one and only life you have. Why not do that? Why not let yourself do it? So yearning is just one of those things that allows you to connect with yourself more. Like I said, it's a catalyst for connection. Self-connection. So to deny it from yourself because you fear those things, I get it, but also why? Like, it's only fear that's preventing you from leaning into it. And I would argue truly that it feels good to yearn, again, like a kind of an achy muscle workout type of thing. it feels good if you really just see it for what it is. It's just like, I'm yearning. I'm experiencing my humanity in this sense, right? I'm experiencing all the things that poets and musicians and artists and painters and whoever experienced when they were thinking about their muses or whatever thing that they were making art about. I get to experience that too. Like I'm tapping into an experience that so many other people before me throughout history have had. Why would I prevent myself from doing this just because it means, there's a potential for rejection, or it's just embarrassing to see myself being like desiring something? Like, yeah, it is embarrassing. And that's also part of being human, and it's okay. And it's kind of fun sometimes. And you get to like congratulate yourself for just indulging in your human experience while you have it. Because I do think that, obviously I don't think it's beneficial to regret things in your life. Of course, things happen. You can't always control them. But I do think that for me, if there's one thing I would look back on and regret, it's not indulging in these experiences for myself, in my humanness, and being able to like really exist in it, and looking back and thinking, oh, I actually suppressed a lot of these emotions out of fear, and I might never go back and be able to do them again. And that kind of sucks. So to me, that's something that I wouldn't want to experience, right? The regret of not leaning into these feelings and emotions just simply out of fear. And then the more you do it and you realize, okay, you're actually not in any true danger. And also it's not really about another person, perceiving you a certain way. It's really just about you seeing yourself, seeing who you are, what you want, what it feels like to be in that state of yearning. It's kind of cool. Like, I think it is, at least. So yeah, this is me just encouraging you to let yourself yearn for a person, for an opportunity, for whatever. Just be in that state of yearning. It doesn't mean it also doesn't mean you even have to go out and get it and like chase it or do things. You can just sit in the yearning of it. Like, I desire, I feel like I can't have. And like, that's so interesting. What can I understand about myself with this feeling of not having? Like, what does it mean to me about my worth and my value? Like, what am I understanding about these things? I think it's such a great exploration of yourself. So yeah, let yourself yearn, let yourself be in your feels, indulge in it, see it as something that could be fun and like a good experience of yourself. So yeah, I hope this was helpful. I hope it gave you a different perspective on the concept of yearning. If you want to read the Substack essay I wrote about this in more detail, follow me over on there. If you want to talk to me one-on-one and explore these thoughts in more detail, feel free to book a call over on my website, and follow me on Instagram and TikTok for my short form content. Other than that, thanks for being here, and I'll be back again soon with another episode.